Hi guys, welcome to another video. It's Ndagire here. This is a video that I landed on, and of course it was interesting and I want to share it with you guys. So the more you see videos online and you look into them and do like a little bit of research, you're like shocked sometimes, especially of the things that black people have really been through. So this is about a white woman that came on the internet and was defending her town, Coleman, if I'm not mistaken, that black people should stop calling it a sundown town because it's not. And she was really literally calling out black people to stop saying her town is a sundown. And I didn't know what that meant, so I looked it up. And it turns out this is a place where white people never wanted black people to be, or people of color to be, especially like in the night. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And I came across videos where people were like saying it's still existing. So watching this woman say that she's so pissed and mad about people calling out a town is really disingenuous. But yeah, guys, listen to what she said and what other black people had to say about the situation. Come back and let me know. Like, really, let me know what you think about it.
I've commented on at least 10 to 15 of these videos made by black people saying how Coleman is a sundown town. Nobody's trapping you. I'm not going to sit here and say that I've done my research, that I know how it feels to be in your shoes, because I'm obviously not black. It's scary and like, well, I'm wrong and blah, 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 blah. Well, okay, I don't care. Like, I do care about you as a person, but you're not going to sit here and tell me why I'm wrong because I'm not black. I get that. But that's not an excuse. You can't just be like, oh, you're not black, you don't understand. No, okay, you're right, I don't understand. But I am a white Christian girl who has lived in Coleman all of her life, and never once have I ever seen in the news that somebody was killed in Coleman or hurt in Coleman because they're black. My face is getting red. I'm getting pissed off.
A white person blaming black people for pointing out that their town is racist and a sundown town. Lovecraft Country that highlighted sundown towns' racism, Jim Crow, was based on Coleman, Alabama.
It's not scary. You're gonna sit here and tell me all the reasons that it is scary, why I'm wrong, and blah 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 blah. I don't care.
Make the point that, yeah, I don't understand because I'm white. I've never seen racism in this town. Why would you ever see it as a white person? Sundown towns are real. They were a form of hyper racism within the United States before the Jim Crow era, and especially during the Jim Crow era, instituted a violent form of segregation in which black people could not be in the vicinity of that town or in that town once the sun set. Black people had to create a travel book to know where we were and weren't safe. In 2024, sundown towns still exist.
You can't just be like, oh, you're not black, you don't understand.
The sign in Coleman, Alabama, multiple of them said, niggas do not let the sun go down on you while in this town. My parents were children when that sign was up. So before you come on here and you make all these grandiose, let me hold your hand and bring you to a sundown town, you're inviting black people to come to a sundown town and you're upset that we're saying it's a trap. White people in this country, man, you cease to amaze me. No one black in their right mind would visit Alabama to begin with. No one black in their right mind would visit a sundown town to begin with. Your grandparents probably participated in violence towards my grandparents. My grandparents are from Alabama. So before you get on this app and tell black people how to feel, how to act, and how to respond to white people telling them to come to a sundown town, look within.
I am a white Christian girl who has lived in Coleman all of her life, and never once have I ever seen in the news that somebody was killed in Coleman or hurt in Coleman because they're black.
And saying that you're a white Christian woman, like that was supposed to be the holy grail of safety. All of the violence perpetuated against us, against the natives, against brown people worldwide has been done by white Christian people. The most dangerous people in this country are white women who use white women tears to cause harm against black people. So no, sorry, we will not be coming to Coleman, Alabama. Check yourself, get offline, do some research, because to say you haven't done research, but come on here and make this plea is the most asinine, ridiculous thing I've seen all day. I'm not even shocked by this PR campaign the residents of Coleman, Alabama are on, because it is historically proven, past, present, and probably future, that white people in this country not only try to whitewash history, they change their history, and they want to be saviors, but they flat out deny the things that they actually are.
As you've seen in the video, that is what she had to say. And honestly, I must really be open about this. White people in general do not want to like associate themselves with the history of their ancestors, but they want to like benefit from the privileges that come with what their ancestors did. Because I can try to understand that like new generations of white people don't want to associate with their history, because it really makes them look bad today in 2024 or in this future of today. And it makes sense, because I mean, we as Black people, African people, are expected to like carry our ancestors' traumas, or be reminded of the things our ancestors did. If you look into history, we are reminded on how our ancestors did this and this and this and that. But when it comes to like white people realizing like, oh my God, I'm actually living in a place, let's say for example this woman, like I'm in a town where my people literally tortured this group of people. It can't be true. And as a Christian, all my life, I've not heard any stories of us hurting this group of people. It can't be true. You cannot literally speak on an experience that you've never experienced. And if a group of people comes out and say like, we experienced this and we still do, like, I mean, something that is still happening in 2024, for you to now like gaslight the people that are experiencing it that is not happening is really shady to me, and it really doesn't make sense. And I mean, I also came across a video of a Black man that was talking about how he accidentally went to a sundown town when he didn't know. This was his experience, guys. Listen to it, and yeah, it was just wild.
They said it was a sundown town. That's crazy.
Yeah.
This is 2023.
It's 2023.
And there's sundown towns.
But you were mentioning there's one actually here in Alabama. We're in Alabama.
It's called Coleman, Alabama.
Coleman, Alabama.
Cullman.
Okay.
Alabama.
And then tell me about your story just now.
Okay. I was in Coleman. I was working with a real estate company where we would go out. People would call in off of postcard ads to buy their houses. So it was one particular house that was located in Coleman. And I was training with an office in Huntsville. And so I noticed strange glances every time they mentioned we were going to Coleman. And so I stayed quiet. I've heard of Coleman, but I didn't want to jump the gun. I wanted to see what they knew. I wanted to just pay attention. So we're riding. And as we come into town, I see a store. And it had a guy's face painted on the side of it. He had a beard. And so, I mean, to me, he looked like a person of color. I said, oh, this is a forward-thinking town. Look at that. They have, I'm thinking, okay, they done put somebody up. The driver looks at the passenger, because the two guys I was riding with were in the front, I'm in the back. They look at each other, and he said, no, it's actually very much the opposite. He tells me out of his mouth, this is probably the most racist town in Alabama. It is a sundown town. I said, now you tell me after y'all bring me here. They're like, oh, you'll be fine, man, you'll be fine. Two country boys, so they're going to be fine.
Right.
Well, yeah, you're good. I said, do I need to stay in the car when we get here? Oh, no, man. I said, okay. We pull up. We hop out. I'm hopping out the car. Everybody's getting out, closing the doors. I'm walking around. White lady comes out of the house, older, a little older. She looks at everybody. She sees me and yells out, oh, y'all brought a black fella. Wow.
And that was, she was bold.
Out loud, yelled it. Because we were parallel parked in the street. So I'm in the road, getting out, walking around, and she yelled it.
So how did the rest of the interaction go?
I stayed out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I let them two take the lead. She kept trying to like grab me, like it was weird. And then one time she acted like she was gonna fall, and I held my arm out, in the house to help her, like, oh, don't fall. She said, watch out, I'm dangerous. I was like, I gotta get out.
Yeah, that's not gonna make me feel good.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I didn't even know where'd that come from.
Right.
For the act of benevolence.
I would love if you left a review for Coleman, Alabama.
I would love to leave a review
Because
I want to warn people who have never heard of it.
Yeah.
Because there's businesses there. There's warehouses. So if you're a truck driver, you might be like, oh, Coleman, okay. But you need to know, don't spend the night there.
Dang.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Listening to both stories of this man of 2023, guys, that's just last year. And this lady that is saying people are lying about her town, the things are not true about what they are saying, you can see who is genuine, who is real, and who is not, and who is trying to gaslight the situation. Because I mean, especially if something doesn't happen to people that look like you shouldn't even be involved, if that makes sense. And it's wild. These people's like parents, grandparents, some of their cousins or uncles, aunties, or whatever, are still living today, but they were part of the situation, they were part of the system. They are still alive today. Just like this man with that woman that was like, oh, I am trouble. Don't even try me. What does that even mean? And her being bold, like, oh, you brought a black person in this town, like that shows you how racist and how discriminative that place is, and they clearly know it. It's just so crazy. And this is why I always say, like, why people really need to be careful, because the more history reveals itself, the more they're gonna hate themselves. Because I mean, it was pride, of course, back then, for them to have those towns, but then today it's embarrassing. Like they don't even feel proud about it, and so they just have to like use this religion, like she was saying, as a Christian, so you have a little bit of sympathy, and also saying, oh, I've never heard of such stories happening. Like, she expected like black people to like sympathize with her because her town is being demonized for her ancestors like actions. Like, what did she expect? Like, what did she really expect? Make it make sense.
It's driving me nuts, and I'm going crazy. So first and
I can see that this is very hard for you, and I'm sorry that you're going through such a difficult time. I know that it must be difficult for there to be standards and opinions about you based upon where you are from that feels unfair to you because you didn't choose to live here or to be the way that you are, and to hear so many people have opinions about you and the way that you live based off of never meeting you or knowing your town. I know this must be incredibly difficult. In an attempt to kind of shed light on why Cullman is referred to as a sundown town, even though you did mention that you do not really care what people like me have to say about this topic, I'm just going to try to shed a little bit of light for you. The term sundown town is not something that we made up or invented or came up with. It was an actual term that referred to places in the United States of America that enacted segregation through intimidation and threat and specific practices to keep people who look like me outside of that territory, specifically at sundown at night, but also through barring the ability to take up residence in the area or to exist as a person who looks like me as a resident. For a long time, people who looks like me would have to navigate the United States using a book like this one. So this is not based off of vibes or trying to refer to Cullman as a sundown town because we just don't like it or we want it to have a bad reputation. It is because in the state of Alabama, Cullman is specifically referenced as one of these towns. It is not by choice, it was not by selection that people who look like me did not want to come to Cullman, or we did not like it, or we chose to judge the city and feel a certain type of way about it. It was because there were actual threats on our lives if we were to exist on this town past dark. That legacy and reputation doesn't just go away because it was real and it did exist. I'm a person who went to school in Alabama, and I was told by a white man from the area, do not go to Cullman, especially not at night. This was in the 2010s. He made it very clear that I should not stop on the road if I am driving through Cullman because I might be at risk. There were other students who attended my school who have actual credible stories of being stopped in Cullman, being harassed, and even attacked in Cullman County. This is not a campaign to make Cullman residents feel bad or to tell you what it's like for you or people who look like you in your town. This is simply a description of the reality for people who look like me when they come to your town. I know that it must be very frustrating to hear that there are warnings being given and that you want to take somebody who looks like me by the hand to walk through Cullman and feel safe. Understand that this is not going to happen. Understand that it has been very difficult for us to hear for a very long time that we are not welcome there, that our lives might be at risk there, that we might be in danger if we go to Coleman County. This was not prompted. We did not create these conversations. We were warned. Also understand that Sundown Town was not a badge that was worn with shame, as you are wearing it right now, but it was one that was embraced by the residents of that area for a significant portion of history. Such a significant portion that it is not unlikely that there are still residents of that town today who still feel that way. So no, we're not gonna come and hold your hand. So we have you as a blanket of safety to help us navigate through your town. We will kindly steer clear.
Coleman, Alabama, that is so dangerous is that it was very effective in its marketing to make sure that it stays a town for people that look like Colby. That's what a sundown town is. The last issue where a person became an ornament in a tree in Coleman happened in 1981, and that means that was 45 years. And you'll see people in the comments saying that's like so long ago, why are we still talking about it? Because they did such a good job of making sure that we never go back. That's why sundown towns are still effective. The mayors, the sheriffs, everyone around there is working hard to make sure that it stays the hallmark ideal, which is 92% white. A sundown town is very dangerous for people who might not understand what it is when you're not American. I grew up in Indiana, 30 minutes away from another sundown town, and it was drilled in my head because when I got a car, I was driving. I was running low on gas, and I called my mom, and she was so mad at me. She was livid, yelling, and she's like, "Where the fuck are you? What city is it? Where are you?" I told her, luckily it was like a Springfield, which is not that crazy. And she said, "If you ever leave the periphery where you live and you're going through Indiana, you need to make sure you have gas so you don't stop in this town. Because if you get pulled over by the cops, I don't know if you're going to end up in a statistic. I don't know if you're going to be Breonna Taylor .2, okay? That's why this is so dangerous. We are talking about how horrible this marketing is because it is efficient in erasing the history that has happened in sundown towns. It is dangerous for people who look like me. It is disingenuous for you to say that you've never experienced it because you know exactly what we're talking about. And the reason I know you know is because when you talk about who's visiting, you don't talk about black people, you don't talk about Americans, you talk about people from out of the country coming to visit to give your town money so you can continue to perpetuate the white supremacy that is running Coleman, Alabama. If you are, for some reason, genuinely trying to make a change into your small town, there's a lot more time and a lot more issues that you have to deal with, my dear love. So much more that you have to do work. If you are looking at these videos and thinking that it is crazy, like, the fact that we're just talking about it has given them a lot of money, a lot of clout, and now that town is going to be circulating, and there are Proud Boys who are going to go and give them money. So the mayor wins. They win regardless of if we realize what they are or if we don't. But to all my black and brown people, stay safe. It's good to share this message of where we are safe and where we're not. And if you have not looked it up, please do. It's really dangerous.
So I really think, guys, like, it's important for us to like learn about these things and not like to carry hate, but to like be realistic and say things the way they are, and also say the history of what it is. And everyone should take accountability for the history that they carry, because if other groups of people are expected to carry their history, why not white people? They should really embrace their good and bad history, and mostly the bad history that they really carry. And like, it's something that they should really get used to. Like, your people, okay, your ancestors did these things and they hurt people, so you just have to embrace them and accept it, and maybe do better and do good from now on, but not just gaslight people into making them feel like they are stupid and like they don't know what they are saying, they are lying and making up stories. Like, that's where the line has to be drawn. Like, stop excusing your ancestors, like things they did for you to make yourself feel good, if that makes sense. Guys, that is it for me in the video. Let me know what you think about this video. It was really nice and interesting to learn about that. I didn't know. Now I know, and I kind of feel like sorry for other black people or African people or other, people of color that come to these towns and they don't know even the true history of those places. And they have to face these things just because like they are not talked about or because they are hidden. Guys, that is it for me in the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Yeah, I'll see you in another video. Bye.